We're on and popping.
Welcome to the Idea of, where we explore the noise, the nuance, and everything in between. I'm Bassey,
And I'm Mike.
and this is the space where culture, creativity, and conversation collide. Come on,
Yes.
alliteration. Let's go.
CCC. It's a lot of culture happening right now. It's a lot of
So much, too
it's a
much,
lot of culturing right now.
too much. Did we tape before or after the Kendrick verse dropped or leaked on the
We
clips?
recorded after it.
Okay.
I don't think we really talked. We jumped into another topic and then we kind of crammed it in at the end. But yeah, that happened. And did you see the okay, first. Let's do a proper introduction.
Oh, right.
We love for you all. First of all, of course, always thanks for listening. We love for you all to comment, rate, and I don't know if people understand, right? I think people see it and it kind of turns to a joke, like smash the subscribe button, right? But for all the people that do content and that do podcasts, like just like businesses, and you give them a Yelp review. Like that's the first thing people go to when they're trying to, establish a business, establish with a business. So ratings are so important, the comments are so important. I have people that I love and trust that will email me, text me the most beautiful serenades about our podcast. And I was like, cool. Can you put this can you send this to not me and put that on the comment? Like can I cut and paste it? So yeah, so the reason why we tell you to subscribe, to rate it, to share it is because when and if our show become syndicated and we have like brand sponsorships and we are making a lot of money from this show, that will be as a result of those subscriptions and the likes and the comments. So, and it just helps us to know what we're doing well, what you love, what you don't love, and we could, just be responsive to the community. So yeah, do all that. Now back to
Please do,
back to
so that we
please do
can make $1,000,000.
it. Right.
Our guy, uh, Deante Kyle, has blown up. Like, I have never seen such an astronomical rise. I don't think ever.
You know, I've seen that. I'm watching it happen. It's really inspiring. He had a hiatus in his podcast the past 2 weeks. I think he had a death in the family, and so I've used that time to go back and listen to some of his older episodes when I wasn't caught up. One, it's just amazing how through the conversation, like his voice strengthens, like his content, his perspective, the way he shares his information, like he's just gotten so much better as a podcaster. Um, but then, yeah, I saw him on Don't Call Me White Girl. Have you ever heard of that podcast?
I have heard of it. I just saw
Yeah,
clips.
that
Um,
that was very entertaining. That was really good.
I saw
Um,
him on. Oh God, it's not Desus and Mero anymore. Oh gosh, grief. No, Mero's podcast,
oh, for
Victory,
real? I missed that.
Victory something. Yeah, they did a two-parter. And I actually saw the second part first, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, let me go back." And so I was watching the first part today, and it was really, really good. I've never seen anybody give Mero a run for his money in that way, because Mero's
For
like,
real. Yeah, he's
yeah,
with
but
it.
yeah, but Deante was right there, and there was a couple of
Ooh.
times where it looked like Mero was a little not in, not intimidated, but not used to somebody marrowing.
To that energy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh wow, I gotta see that. I gotta see
yeah.
that.
It was really good. Deante is special, man. He is a special
You know
person.
what? You know what would be my podcast? And this will never happen, but like dream would be to see Taxstone and Deante. Do you remember Tax?
Isn't he in jail in
He's
prison?
very much in jail. Very much
Okay,
in jail.
okay.
But I mean, when I talk about very similar trajectories, the audience was the same. Tax, of course, leaned more New York. Tax was, as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, okay, he's from Brooklyn. Like he's just a Brooklyn nigga to the bone. And he was just caught up in some. You know that story, the
N-
Taxstone story, and
Not really. I remember what the first like podcast that I know it that I listened to was Combat Jack, but it was
yeah,
after he died, so it was like a weird thing. And they're connected to Combat and
yeah,
Taxstone, and then also the
absolutely,
Reed. So
yep.
that was like my intro to podcast, but I don't think I ever listened to Taxstone.
Oh man, Tax was like to this day probably one of my favorite shows
Oh wow.
because it was just a perfect balance of just like hood nigga energy. A dude trying to like with one leg, probably one leg in the game, like in whatever game he was in, right in the hood, and then one game in the industry. And he was in a very, very similar way, putting up a mirror to like the fake industry conversations, and specifically at the beginning, he was at the beginning of podcasting,
Mhm.
right? And there was a time where I would say like Tax and Joe Budden were like neck and neck. And when you have some time, there is a probably the most fascinating podcast exchange. There's an interview between Tax and Joe Budden.
Oh wow.
And Tax was saying all the shit about Joe eight, I don't know, 8, 9 years ago. They were all like, wait, what? What?
What was he saying? What was he saying? Like
It
what?
was just fat. He just read him. He just read him. And
Like
like,
for filth, or read him
for
for?
for hood nigga filth.
Oh shit.
Like you're a phony, you're kind of fake, and
Oh
like
shit.
it was like, but just like how we're talking, like what is it? He was like, "What is it about you, Joe? Like I don't like you. Like there's something about you I don't like." And
Yeah.
then Joe was doing his thing, also very early in his podcasting career, and so it was just like a war of words and brain hood nigga jujitsu that was happening in a podcast early in the podcast form. I don't even know if there's video to it.
Are they
Um,
still are his episodes still up, or is his show still
his
up?
episodes are still live, and somehow he does. He'll do like one episode every 6 months from jail. I don't know how he has someone that that goes in and records him, but Tax was just a different kind of dude, and he had kind of loose connections in the industry. I don't know if you know of a rapper named Casanova who was also in jail from Brooklyn. They were kind of all involved in the similar circle. Tax ended up going to jail because he went to, you remember that big, it was a concert, T.I. had performed, and then Tax went, and there was like a confrontation between him and other dude from Brooklyn. Nobody likes him either. I can't remember his name. Um, Short, dark skinned guy, always talks about selling drugs.
Bobby
Man,
Shmurda.
anyway, huh?
I said Bobby Shmurda.
No, but right, like I can't think of homeboy's name. Anyway, they had a beef, and Tax shot the guy in the club. It's on camera. It was everywhere, and he went on the stand, told on Tax. It was a big thing, and that's
Oh, so
how
the
and
guy
why.
didn't die?
No, he didn't die. He didn't die. He's still very much alive. He's still a rapper. He still drops mixtapes. His thing is like the snowman. Like he's like snow. I can't. I can see his face. I can't think of his name.
So how long is he in prison for?
Um, it's a very very long time because New York and guns. Like he had a gun in a New York
Oh,
club, and it was on tape. And Tax's position was that it was self defense,
yeah.
and it all started on the podcast. That's the part that's fascinating from a podcast perspective. Their beef started on the podcast, and Tax would just like joke him, you would joke somebody in the hood like, "Get out of here, he's corny," and
Yeah.
they met in person, and that's where things started. We didn't want to go on a tangent on that, but all that to say that Tax and Deante would be a phenomenal just cross branding, East Coast, up north, down south collaboration. That would be really dope. That would be really dope.
I'm going through his episodes, and he has one with. First of all, I never heard of No Jumper. Definitely not in 2016, but he's got a thing in there. But he's got an interview with this woman that I used to follow on Twitter, and then she
Who?
got really weird, and I stopped following her. And then, like 2 years ago, she killed her fiance, her,
Whoa.
I think her son or her baby, and then killed herself.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Who?
right. Her name is she went by Mystic Lipstick on Twitter. She was like
Holy
this
smoke.
like astrology person, but during COVID, she fell into like that COVID uh 5G,
Oh
like
God.
all of
Wow.
that, like that spiritual psychosis, and like lost it. But I stopped following her early because I was like, I don't really follow. I don't really know astrology, but like true to a Leo, I only know about Leo shit, and I'm only interested in Leo shit. Um, but then so I was following her, and then she just got weird, and I was like, all right, well, and I'm not like religious, but I was feeling like the demonic
The
type
dark
of like,
forces.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So, and then 2, 3 years later, she did that.
Wow. I'd
Yeah,
never heard of that. I've never heard of that.
yeah.
Holy
You
smoke.
probably don't know that you know about it. You probably don't
Mm.
know that you know about it. But yeah, I'm just looking through his things, and but like, let's go back really quickly to Joe Budden. Did you see the release of how much money he makes a month?
I did see that. I
That
did see
is
that.
insane.
I have so many like I just hate what podcasts have become. Like it's so clear to me that Joe's show has become mildly scripted. You know what I mean? And we talked about this. Like we talked about like what's real, like when we were talking about like is Ish really that dumb, like all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, I saw that it was leaked.
No, it wasn't like,
You know what I'm
totally.
saying? Like what do we like come on. He just wants people to know. But it's cool. I mean, that's I mean, that Patreon subscription stuff is really lucrative
Yeah.
if you have an audience. And I even heard if you don't have like 100,000 followers, like if you have 1,000 to 2,000 followers, that Patreon could be pretty lucrative depending on what you're charging. So
Yeah.
that most more not most importantly, but like, did you see the exchange between Mark and Melissa Ford?
No. Somebody already, no, it was already, I don't know if I saw like a TikTok or YouTube, like Mark Lamont Hill destroys Melissa Ford. And whenever I see stuff like that, my anxiety can't deal with people like yelling and arguing in that
Destroying people.
way. Right.
Right,
So I was like,
right.
I'm just not going to listen to that. I
Yeah.
didn't hear it. I didn't see it. I know it
And this,
happened though.
yeah, and we don't we're known to not we're not gonna like podcast about other podcasts, but what I do think it does highlight is just the conversation between Mark and Melissa was highlighting like a different conversation about men and women sharing like conversational spaces, like how do you give space to someone that might be perceived as more intellectual, or if you recognize that you have more intellectual bandwidth, like giving space for people to be stupid, like or for people to say things that you don't agree with. That's what it was about. It was about, they always pile up on Melissa, and Mark kind of stayed quiet. He was like, the reason why I don't pile up is because they're already doing it and I don't need to. Like, you kind of make
Yeah.
yourself look dumb sometimes, and that's cool. So it was a interesting reflection. I just hate that like these moments are staged, even if they're real emotion, that so many of these staged interactions, especially when it comes to between men and women, cause so much anxiety. It's just like a low level anxiety across timelines. That's just really, I don't know. It seems so calculated and planned for people to disagree. I don't know. I never like that kind of
So we've had this conversation
context.
before, and I always disagree. But what the concession that I'll give is that I don't think that it is like scripted, but I think that it is encouraged to while out.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not like we're gonna plan it this way, but it's like the way that reasonable people would disagree or even like argue the way that it because the way that I've seen like Ish and Joe go at it, or there was one episode, and again I only listen because I really like Joe. I think Joe is like a music savant. Like his takes on like music, I'm really
Hmm.
really interested in.
Hmm.
And so I like skip through, but he's a jackass. Like
Yeah.
he overtalks. He he'll randomly get in like a mood where he's randomly going at what's his name, Ice, like
Yeah.
not hear it, not letting him talk, challenging everything he says, like in the most ridiculous, like did he do something to you before the camera started rolling type
Right.
way.
But that's the
And I
part that's scripted to me. That's the
but
part that's like, come
but
on.
this that's what I feel like is like Joe is like the Larry, what's his name? Not Larry. Is it Larry Sanders? Curb Your
Who?
Enthusiasm. Curb Your
Oh,
Enthusiasm.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Um,
I feel like if there's a script, Joe has the script,
yes.
and
Yeah.
and everybody else is like, what the fuck, and then like reacting off of his potting. So I don't think that there's a general script that they all like. Okay, these are the points we're gonna hit. I don't think that. I think that he antagonizes people purposefully, and that's
Here's
what shows up.
here's legit what I think is happening with all of these podcasts. Like all of the the lip services, like all of those kind of like popular black culture podcasts. I think that they have people. Joe regularly talks about Ian, right? The guy Ian, I guess is his lawyer, business partner, whatever. I think they look at metrics. I do think they look at what like not just the number of downloads, views, and all that. I think they look at, okay, when we talk about when there's a men and women battle, it goes crazy. So we're gonna talk about that this week. Whenever we mention Kendrick and Drake, it goes crazy. So we're gonna talk about that this week. Whenever we mention, there's like a couple things in the podcast, Cardi B. When we talk about Cardi, it goes crazy. And so I think when those topic comes up, that's the part. Like I don't believe anything that they stand by or say, and I don't know if they're necessarily lying. Like they're saying like they believe one thing and they come on camera and say a completely different thing. I don't think it's that. I think it's like wrestling. And I think that the reason why wrestling, like actual WWE, WWF has been so popular is because it's like the wink and the gun of content. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the wink and the gun is like, this is fake. Like, no one's gonna hit someone with a metal chair over and over again repeatedly, but you're entertained just enough for you to go along with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And that entertainment, that dopamine hit that we see, that thing that ignites, ooh yeah, men ain't shit. Or oh yeah, bitches ain't shit. Yeah, like that that light switch that goes on in our souls when we're in front of those kinds of disagreements. All of the podcasts are tapped into what those 10 elements are, and they're going to put it on their script or their docket knowing that, yeah, this is going to get the people going.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I
so
mean,
that's why I can't. What,
no,
like,
I feel like that's marketing. That's normal. I think that every industry does that. So I don't. That's where we differ all the time because I don't think it's a pod thing. I think it's a communications media thing.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, I can
I
see that.
also still don't think that it is like scripted. I just think that there's a, like you said, like just watching YouTube, they know that whenever they mention Kendrick and Drake,
Yeah.
the comments are gonna go crazy because the Kendrick fans are now turning into Drake fans, and
You
it's
see what
so
I'm saying?
disgusting.
Yo,
It's
we're going to
so
talk about it.
disgusting. I
Put a pin
fucking
right there.
I fucking hate it. I mean, we could talk about it now, but I fucking hate it because
Oh.
it
Listen,
goes against everything that Kendrick created. It goes against everything he created. Like the
yo,
whole like so many people became fans of Kendrick and not fans of hip hop. And I
see
feel
what
like
I'm
he'd be disgusted by that. I feel like he'd be disgusted by it because that is not, he loves hip hop too much for that to be,
his
for him,
legacy.
for that to be his legacy. For that to be his legacy.
Bossy,
I hate
I'm
it.
going to take what you just said. I'm going to record it and I'm going to carry it around with me when the group text I told you that was beating my head in and trying to stomp on my dead body for a year. I want to call out every person on that thread. I want to call out Brandon. Brandon, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Dwayne. I'm talking to SK. My LB was a fence rider. He didn't have my back the way that he should. The only people that had my back was Brad and Ryan, because all I was saying the whole time is that this is not what Kendrick wants. That's all I was saying. That all this hoopla, all this, black top circus bullshit is not Kendrick Lamar. This is some other shit. That's all I was saying. And they was stomping on my dead body for 8 months. You know what I'm saying? They were
Well,
they were
in your
persecuting me.
friend's defense, in your friend's
No,
defense,
no,
you were
don't
wilding.
defend them.
No, you were wilding. You were wilding a little bit.
Oh,
You were
what?
wilding. You were
I was
wilding a little bit. You were wilding a little
not me.
bit. You were hating a little bit. Yes, you were wilding and you
I
were hating a little bit.
was not.
I'm not saying I'm not privy to all of your conversations, so I don't know. But the little bit of conversation I heard, you was wilding and you was hating. But
I was
that to
not
say,
hating.
all that
It
to
was so much
say,
love. It was so much love. It was disguised as hate. That's what the problem was. But I feel.
uh, that sounds
Listen,
that sounds a little
no,
MAGA. That sounds a little crazy.
no.
That sounds a little
That was
crazy.
definitely. I think that was a Drake bar actually. When your love turns into hate, something like, I feel like that sounds very Drake.
He would have a bar like that. Just whack ass.
Well,
But
I wasn't talking crazy. I was just trying to let people know, don't fall for the gimmicks. That's it. It all seemed gimmicky. And this is not, the gimmicks didn't weren't coming from Kendrick. They were coming from the
that's
forces around him. And that's not what he doesn't want this. He
yeah.
doesn't want DJ Mustard to be in an ad with mustard bottles behind it. He didn't want that when he said
Yeah.
mustard. He didn't want that. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
But I kind of feel like just from what I've observed and heard from the people around him, he wants people to eat. Like he wants people to oh sorry, I'm gonna interrupt myself because I just thought of, I hate the fact, okay, how do I say this? How do I say this? I like AZ Chike a lot. Like his
Oh,
personality, he's
yeah.
funny, he's charismatic, he's got the it factor.
Mm-hmm,
The only
mm-hmm.
it he doesn't have is raps. I do not like, I do not like it, but they are positioning him to be the quote next Kendrick.
Are they
But
really?
they are.
Ooh.
They are. That's how they reference him. I think I love following him on TikTok. He seems like the most genuine dude. Like he seems like a good dude. Like
Mm-hmm.
funny, charismatic, personable, like everything you need and want. He is who, and we're going to talk about your boy. He's who Drake would have been had he not like fallen into his, had he not become a victim of his own press packet. Like Drake is
Mm.
supposed to be like the suburban, like, just
Yeah,
likable and
yeah,
and a
yeah.
good rapper, but also very and he started out like where he was
He
like,
started out like that.
he started out
Yeah,
like that because I
yeah.
think about like the interview he did with, I don't know who it was. Was it like Larry King, where he was like, yeah, Wayne told me to stay myself, to stay Canadian, and I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
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 yeah.
that guy. But I mean,
Yeah.
not that AZ Chike is from Cali, like he's from Watts or some shit. Like he's from there. He's really from there. But
Mm-hmm.
his demeanor gives me that I could see him doing like do you remember the Eve show when she was a Eve just
Like
had
the
a
sitcom?
sitcom. It was called Eve. She played a lady named Shelley. Oh, I could see him doing like a East Coast Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like he's got
Mm,
that kind of like charm. He's got that Will
okay.
Smith
Yeah.
charm. I just hate his rapping.
And he's like Cali rapper, like that kind of like
Super Cali.
doesn't open his mouth, kind of just like, and it has that like
Super.
cadence. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it. But
Mm,
he's positioned. Oh, what was my point? Oh, my point was that what what Kendrick I think was trying to do, and I think he succeeded. Just looking at what's going on with the clips, is to set hip hop back on course, to
yeah.
allow it to grow up, allow it to be what it was supposed to be before a bunch of people who hated rap started rapping.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and people are like, oh, who's up next? Who's up next? And they keep saying AC Chike, and I'm like, he's not
Nah.
it. And I just
That ain't it.
wonder truly, because of who we know Kendrick to be, if he wasn't from Cali, would he support that? You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right.
I feel like Ray
But
Vaughn has the raps, but he doesn't have the personality.
yeah, he's a little hard to cut through. I saw the Joe Budden family tree, Maul and Rory had an interview during BT week or BT Awards week
Mm-hmm.
with Ray Vaughn and then separately with AZ Chike, and they were both really great interviews. And the one with AZ Chike, I saw what you mean. Like I see what you mean. Very personable, super smart. Like you could just tell he's an intelligent kid. You know what I'm saying? Had a very like humble approach to the interview. I wonder like in Cali, is he the man in Cali? Like
He's
is
been
he
he's
like
been he's been known for a while. Apparently, he's been out since at least he's like hometown famous. I think since 2017, and people do this thing that I fucking hate. When you're like, oh, this person's new to me, it's like, oh, y'all just being turned on to yes, yes, yes,
right?
we
I just
are. The
found out.
fuck,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes, we just found out. Congratulations, you knew in 2017. Like, did you get a
Right,
car? Like, what the fuck? Like, yes, we're
right.
just now. But I hate that shit. I
I
hate it. With
do
like,
too.
oh, you're just now. Yes, I am
Yeah,
just now. Now what?
yeah,
What's next?
yeah. Right,
Um,
right, right.
but yeah, so he's been like hood famous for a
Mm.
while. He's just now hitting the mainstream.
I
Um,
think that I think that brings up a really good point that we've been podcasting now. It's been 6 months, right?
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, it
when it
has been.
when 6 months, like when
Yeah,
it comes to rap, we haven't really talked about anyone other than Kendrick and Drake,
mm,
right? Like there hasn't been in these last 6 months there have been good albums that have come out, but there's been nothing that's been like, yo, did you hear this? Or oh man, like I've been listening to
yeah,
Tyler
yeah,
has
yeah.
been
Tyler.
in that range. But nothing that like really, sticks out as, we've talked about who's the next big three. I think the days of big three is over.
Yeah.
You know, and but it just it's really something. I don't know what it is, but this clips rollout is perfect. Their rollout has been absolutely perfect. It's
Mm,
so reminiscent of the rollouts in the '90s. Like
mm,
I haven't anticipated an album. I can't tell you when. The last
yeah.
one I can remember is the Black album, where I was like, oh shit, like I gotta get their
Yeah.
hands on that album.
The way that
Um,
the clips are rolling out their album is giving me I need to go to Sam Goody at midnight to get it.
exact.
I
Like
gotta
I'm
go to the
standing outside.
Wiz.
Like I'm gonna
I
wait
got
up that night
yeah,
and download that album for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and then we've seen conversations in the last few weeks about age, right? Where there's like this, you have Jim Jones that's faking like he's a YN. We don't use YN, but you know what I'm saying, the YN aesthetic. And then the two most anticipated rappers right now are in their 50s or
Hmm.
in their 50s or approaching 50.
Yeah.
Like
Push is 48. and
Yeah,
Malice is like 52 or something like that.
52 years old.
And they're
So it's like
killing them out here, killing
I
the
love it. I
game.
love it. But also, it's like, where's the future at? Like, is are we just going to be listening to who who are the hip hop stars right now? Like, legit. Of course, we
They're
have
not.
Kendrick, we have Tyler, but like, what
They're
is
not
this?
because Tyler is in his 30s now. He's not the
Yeah,
18-year-old that he was before. Kendrick is 38. Cole is 40, which
yeah,
shocked the fuck out of me.
and
Where the hell is he?
surprisingly silent. Like, no,
He's
we're not gonna get started there. Don't
that's your
get started.
man.
That,
That's your.
that's the man.
Is
Like,
that
I'll
your
say, like,
king?
yes,
Is that
that's
your
my man.
king?
I don't.
Is that
He's
you're a stick beside him?
I'm standing beside him, but I'm publicly like, come on, bro. Like, hip hop, there it's like hip hop is bubbling right now, but it's bubbling from the alumni, where
Yeah.
it should be the undergrads that are doing what they're doing, but the alumni, you don't go to homecoming for the alumni step show. You go to homecoming to see like what the young guys are gonna do, like what, but like,
Yeah, but to further that analogy, homecoming was created for the alumni.
true, very true.
Even though
It
like
was.
it was that's who they were, that's who's coming home. But I mean, I feel like as much as what Kendrick has done as far as like trying to reset the balance in hip hop, I think the damage has been done too severely, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I'm not going to say in our lifetime, but I just don't believe. I think that the damage to hip hop is almost irreparable
Mm,
because, and I don't know if we spoke about this, but I also believe that the damage to black music has been done, and I blame your boy BBL Drizzy for this
yeah.
because no, I do. I have this whole thing. I don't know if I don't want to repeat myself and be spoken about it here, but just
No, yeah,
very briefly,
yeah.
there his run, his 15-year run, as impressive as it is, was also oppressive to the genre because it disallowed anybody else from coming in. It created a genre of rappers who didn't like rap. They wanted to
Mm,
be rap stars, or they wanted to be rock stars. They wanted to be all these different people except for rappers. They didn't respect hip hop. They weren't part of like the fabric of it. So we're that's where we are. Like the people who are call themselves rappers, but they're half singing, but they can't really sing. But so they say it's rap. They say it's hip hop. Um,
right.
that's a lot of damage in the last 15 years. And it's not just him. I'll be honest with you. I think Young Money ruined hip hop, but that's a whole different conversation. Um, but also when it comes to black music, one of my theories or observations is that from the inception of black American music, when black
Mhm,
Americans started doing things culturally, white people always tried to find a way in.
mhm.
Started from like the minstrel shows, like
Yeah,
back. Black people were doing that. Not with like the face paint and all that, but like it was a culture that they had created,
yeah,
and white
yeah.
people are like, oh, we want in, and then they started doing the caricatures and making it crazy and stupid. Um,
Right.
gospel music was created because they were merging, the sounds that they came with and like these hymns that they were given to, or that
Hmm.
they were given, and then white people were like rock and roll, jazz, the blues, the list goes on and on. Country music, all of these genres that Black American people created, they
Hmm.
they lost track of it. Not lost track of it, but the white people came and did some weird white people shit, and then it became theirs. But what did Black people do? Created something else, and created
Right.
something else. There's never
Right.
been a 15-year period where Black people were Black Americans weren't creating a new thing. There is no new thing because it was stalled. It was stagnant, and because it was stagnant, there was no room for any kind of movement. So that's my little weird ass conspiracy theory that
Hmm.
they left the door open with hip hop, and that's the problem, and that's why we're having this conversation about who's next and what's next. I think they've created a situation where there is no next
Yeah.
because of what
Yeah.
hip
I
hop
mean,
is and what it's supposed to do.
I tend to agree. I tend to agree with the lens of like hindsight is 2020, right? Like standing here and looking back over 20 years, 2025, 2005, like like there was a dearth, there was a gap hip hop in the hip hop rap scene where me as a young person in 2003, 4, 5, I remember going out to the club, going to U Street, hanging out, going all over the country, different clubs and stuff. Like I remember what the sound was. And I remember not liking it. At 23, the age where you're supposed to be in the club and vibing, and I remember hearing snap music, the big white tee, lean with it, rock with it. And I'm like, it's cool, but like this, it just didn't do it for me. Right. And at the age where it should have been doing it for me. And to be very honest, and I'm trying to, I don't want to overstate anyone's impact, but when I heard Drake, I was like, this is it. Like this is what the game has been missing, right? Like he represented, he came in on some real hip hop shit with Little Brother and using Kanye West beats, and like he was on that shit, and I was like, this is it. And so where I agree with you is that I feel like Drake hit a perfect spot in the Matrix where he got the youngish people, you know, me at that time being 28, 29 years old. And then he got the people that were like in middle school too,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a group of people that are riding with him like, no, like he saved the sound and kind of ignored as all of that chipped away. And he turned into the machine. And he
Mm-hmm.
turned into a representation of what was bad with hip hop, with the industry, with streaming, and all of these things coming together. He became the face of that. But I don't think it was nefarious though. I don't think he was
I
like,
think
I'm gonna do this. I think it just happened as hip hop became $1 billion industry. That's what happens to all $1 billion industries.
I don't think that it was nefarious as in he came in with that plan. I think okay, do you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Okay,
My little
lay, lay,
tinfoil hat.
who did it? Who did it? President Bush.
I'm going to lean into the microphone too. I'm gonna lead into the microphone too.
Okay, okay.
I think Aubrey Drake Graham is COINTELPRO. And
Okay.
once he entered the scene and they saw the fact that he was basically a white man who could infiltrate black spaces, he was recruited by COINTELPRO in order to stop the advancement of hip hop as a social and political tool. Thank you.
I'm not laughing at your take. I'm laughing at your delivery. I mean, okay, okay.
COINTELPRO.
Listen, but and this is the part where like it always feels like I'm defending Drake, and I'm not. I'm not defending Drake. I just it is easy to do. Was it recent to have recency bias, right?
Mm-hmm.
On both sides of any issue. Like you could like because we're here right now, we have the benefit of everything that we've experienced. But in that moment, in those moments, 2010, when he was releasing these albums, there there was good, very good music on those albums,
I agree.
right? And I think around the 20 maybe 2016, 17, 18 time frame, his albums became more bullshit and less good. Like there was always a couple, hits like whoa, like Drake crazy, and then there was a bunch of bullshit. And I think because we had been riding with him for so long and in our like he saved the sound of hip hop to make it more maybe more universal. Like you're saying, like he was a universal face that could easily be co-opted by anybody, by anything.
because of the way that he entered the he I don't even mean this in a derogatory way. I mean it in a factual way. He's a white man. He was raised as a white man who was able to exist in black spaces because he's biracial. But his orientation, the fact that he's 100, not 100%, the fact that he is aligning himself with MAGA adjacent, um,
Yeah,
like
see all that shit.
incel red
Yeah,
pill community, that's all, that's like white people shit. And I
that's
think
crazy.
that, but listen to what you're saying though. You're saying that in the beginning, and I agree with you. I think that comeback season and um
Take
I can't remember what the
care and
I can't
yeah,
remember
the
the other one, the other
soon.
mixtape that he did.
Oh yeah, before
Uh,
that, yeah, before
yeah,
comeback
but
season.
even if you want to go into Take Care and if you're seeing this, it's too late. Like I will like that. I like that guy. I like
Yeah,
that guy. But just to your point, his music got less good but
yeah,
more successful.
yes, that's
like
a
like
fact. That's
the
without a
worst
doubt a
of him, the worst of this person who was talented because he came in on some rapping shit. He
right.
came in on some rapping shit and then abandoned it, or COINTELPRO and was encouraged to
Uh
dumb it
huh.
down.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Audience,
But
I'm leaning into the mic because
you
I
don't
don't want
want
the
them to hear
government
you,
to hear me.
right? Right. No, I mean, you're not wrong, and I think both of us are saying things that we've seen, like we've witnessed it, like we were in the streets, we heard the sound of music, we heard it change, and we've seen like where Drake has gone off on some other shit, and like that is the part that I would I would consider myself like I really like Drake's music. I'm gonna say I've liked his music over time, and I've liked his music less and less and less in the last 10 years. And also, I vividly remember Jay Z going through a similar, like the narrative around Jay Z following a similar pattern. The narrative around Beyonce, around Eminem, around all of those big iconic musicians, artists in any genre, is like you get to a point where you come in and you're making this sweet music for your core fans, and the powers that be, whether it's COINTELPRO, whether it's Nestle, whether it's Johnson and Johnson, whatever it is, right? They find a way to use their NIL, their name, image, and likeness, to push some bullshit. And so the juxtaposition of Drake's comeback season album cover when he had the P coat on with the
Mhm.
collar up
And the waves.
and the waves, you're like, oh, he had a part in this way. I was like, oh, who is this light skinned kid? To seeing him now, when I opened my phone 2 days ago and saw the most like, I, it just made me sad. Like it made
It
me
made me very
sad
sad. It made me
to
sad too.
see like this. This is what we are like. You have fake abs on the internet, fam? Like that, is that where we're, is that hip? I don't even know what to say. Like I literally opened it and closed my phone immediately because I couldn't process that. Either he thought that the collective people would be dumb enough to recognize that that's not fake, or he was so comfortable with having fake abs that he was like, yeah, look at my abs, like my abs are fake, like it's cool, like we're cool.
Which
And
is
like
insane.
what are we
Either
supposed to
one
do
of
with that?
those,
Like with that picture, like what are we supposed to do with that?
either one of those options you've given are insane.
Did you see
They're
those abs,
insane.
Bobby? Like
Yes,
what?
I saw them.
What the?
Yes, I saw them. And
That's
immediately,
embarrassing. I had third hand
immediately,
embarrassment.
immediately. And the thing is, did you see the video of him running?
Yes, like someone with abs like that ain't gonna run like that. He should know
No.
that. Why
Even
was he
from the
like? Why was
back,
his
from
foot
the
like
back,
his
he
foot
looked like
club, like he had a club foot. Like no shade
He
if he had a
looked,
club foot, but
he was running like he'd only heard about running from reading books, and he could, and he's never actually seen it done
right.
before.
He's like, oh, this is how you run in sneakers. Like I don't. It was just.
And
I was like, wow, this guy is never gonna escape the scrutiny. It was like
no,
as soon as you start to be like, all right, this. I'll speak for me as someone that is trying so hard to support this guy's music, right? I'm like, just wait for the music, y'all. Like he's gonna give it to us, and then he gave us, the some sexy songs for you. I was like, all right, that's not it, but the next one, the Iceman, this is gonna be the one, and then you see this fantastic, most beautiful rollout that the Clips is doing, and then next next clip is old fake Absy McGee over here.
Big Housey
Like
McGee is
what? It's
crazy.
just sad, man. He just it's I
But
don't
my issue is not just it is not just the fake abs. It's not just and it shows up like BBLs do, where it's like you didn't get the thighs to match. He didn't get the chest, the shoulders, or the arms to match. So it's like, who's zooming who at this point? Like what are we supposed to, are we supposed to not know, or are we supposed to know and be in on whatever joke that you're telling? I don't know, but my how do I, it's like you're not even trying.
that's yes, and
You know what I mean? Like,
right there, Bossy. That's it. And if you're not trying with yourself, with your actual personal body, then there's no way you're trying with the music. That's
there's
my issue.
no way.
No way. No way.
There's
No way.
no way.
No way.
It's like he's embracing the inauthenticity that he was accused of. And it's like, but it's not even in a tongue in cheek satirical way. He seems dead ass. And it's just like,
Right. Right.
what are we supposed to get from this? Like, what are we supposed to do with this that you're showing us? And you're showing it to us in the most absurd. You're showing it to us, and it's like,
Right.
okay, why do we know this? Like, why are we seeing you standing in front of a mirror with a bunch of cheap ass, college ass liquor bottles in front of you
Right.
with your fake abs?
What are you trying to what are you I saw the picture, I was like, what are you trying to showcase here? Are you showcasing this ridiculous room you're in? Are you showcasing like the is this an alcohol brand deal you're focusing on? Because there's 85 different bottles of liquor, and then there's you mean mugging with the iPhone in a mirror like a bad bitch. Like what am I like? What are we supposed? So it's like if your body, like your actual person, right, and you're working out as much as you're working out to have those kinds of abs, and what you present to us is liquor, you're fucking with me. Like you're
Yeah,
like people that have those kind of abs probably don't drink because you have to have a certain lifestyle.
you have to
So
have seven
you're
percent body fat to
right,
have and be very very strict. As he's got bodybuilder abs, he's got, I've been working on
superhero
this.
He-Man doll abs.
He-Man, yes, yes. And what gets me too is that, and this is, to me, speaks about character.
Yeah,
And
I agree. Yeah,
every bar in that battle that Kendrick let off is just, it's just facts.
it
It's
is what it
just
is. Right.
facts.
It's face
Let your core
value. It
audience
is what it
stomach
is.
that.
Yeah.
Tell them where you get your abs from.
Yeah.
What was the other thing that he said? Oh, I can't remember what it is, but get some discipline. To me, that is undisciplined. You've got all the money in the world for
Right.
trainers, for
Right.
cooks. If
Right.
you wanted to enhance what you've already did, that's fine. If you were working
Right.
really hard and you just could not get that,
Yeah.
by all means,
Yeah. Yeah.
do
Yeah.
what you need to do to get what you've worked on. But you didn't even try.
You didn't
Like, he
try.
doesn't even look like, I've got more definition than he
Yeah,
does.
yeah. His shoulders
Like,
were slumped.
he had no biceps. He tried to get the chest, but like it just didn't. Like, one was deflated. Like,
Yeah,
you got a
it's
boob
crazy.
job and a BBL. Like, nigga, what is happening to you?
What is happening? And I just cannot. I genuinely stand by the saying, like, the way you do anything is the way you do everything,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
if he is as whatever he's doing by showing us that picture, if he's leaning into the joke, if it's satirical, if it's SNL level satire where you're like self-depreciating, cool. Like, that's hit. That is also a part of his persona. Like, he's always been uh self-depreciating himself. He's always been the butt of his own jokes. And part of the switch in his trajectory is when he started taking himself too seriously. Like, he
Seriously.
started like believing the hype. And of course, I mean, it's Drake. He can do and get whatever he wants, and it would be within his means, right? But don't what do they say? White people say, like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
It's rating, yeah.
Like, don't do all this and be joking 1 minute, and then T Pain said something about
Oh, I
him,
was
and then
just
he
about
was
to
like,
bring up T Pain.
"Oh, T Pain's always had
Had
whatever towards me."
resentment,
Like,
and what T Pain said was not. It wasn't. He was using your words, saying he learned from your words, and then told the truth about what it is that you're doing, which is you keep throwing things out, hoping
right,
something catches instead of just stepping back. Like,
right,
for you to take that and turn it into, he's just jealous. First of all, it
yeah.
is some bad bitch shit. This bad bitch
So he's
energy.
the thoughty. He's the thought. He's
He
Tatiana.
really is.
Like, I
He
don't know
really
what.
is.
And I just can't. And I just can't. So when I see all this behavior that I have literally been trying to ignore, if anything, Bossy, with through this whole beef, I've just, for a fact, I've just been trying, like, just focus on the bars. Just focus on the music. If the music sounds good, I don't care who it's coming from. Like, focus on the music. So when Kendrick was bodying him and it's like, ooh, and then Drake would come back with like one right hook, like, ooh, okay, he still got it. Like, that's literally me as someone that supported Drake. Like, okay, you heard that? It's still there. You know what I'm
He's
saying? It's
got
like,
two bars.
he got it. It's still there, right? So you're holding on, and then he comes up with the fake ad picture. So, like, you're clearly fucking with us, and you clearly don't take this shit seriously. So I'm less likely to go into whatever this new album is going to be and give him the credit I've been giving him and be like, well, he can rap, because that's always been my thing. I'm always been like, well, fuck all that shit. I don't know, but he can rap. I'm less likely to fall on that because now you just, what are you doing? Like, what are you, like, this is not where his career should have been.
No.
And then when you see someone and you see some people with the talent of the clips who should probably be astronomically more successful than they are,
Mm.
but they're not, you're like, you're a waste. You're
Yeah.
wasting.
You're
You're
a waste
taking up
man. That's what you
space.
say.
Yeah, you're taking up space every time somebody drops. And then your crazy fans are over here trying to diminish what the clips are going to do, trying to diminish what Kendrick has done. And it's like, it's you, bro. It's
Yes.
you. It's
He made.
you.
We didn't know about those two things. We didn't know about how many people, how much you sold or didn't sell, and we're not watching the chart position. We didn't start doing that until Young Money, until Nicki and Drake fans decided that was the barometer, not the impact, not the skill, not the talent, not the skill set that is being a rapper at a high level. It was the numbers. How much money did you make? How much this did you sell? How, like, that became the bar. And once that
Yeah.
became the bar, the art suffered significantly because
Yeah.
nobody was trying to out rap anybody else. They were trying to outsell other people. And I think that, going back to my COINTELPRO fact, it is facts. Going back to my COINTELPRO thing, I think that he was created to usher in streaming, because that was the transition. He would not be as successful as he was if we had to go to the store and buy his stuff. The rise of streaming came with him, and I low key think that he was trying to, like, they were trying to get him to bring in AI, and he was like, no, I don't want to do that, and that's why it was up from there. That's what I think, but I just be making shit up, to be honest with you.
No, I
Except for the
mean,
COINTELPRO shit, that's facts. Go
I don't
ahead.
think I don't think they I don't think Drake ushered it in. The streaming, the number
Well, they used
focus.
him.
Yeah, I think, but no, I think it's close. I think it is. If we go back to it, it's all connected. And I've always said that it was Eminem. Like I felt like it
Mhm,
was Eminem, and but around Eminem, it's like 1 degree of separation to all the folks we're talking about,
mhm,
right? Like, um, I specifically we both remember, I'm sure, the Kanye 50 Cent battle, right? The
mhm,
face to face, who's gonna sell more records. That was right around the time that Drake was dropping. I think Drake saw all of that, right?
mhm.
And if you think of all the artists that were hot at that time, Drake just kind of took a little bit from each of them, right? Like he kind of like, you know, and created a perfect mixture of who was hot at the time: Jay, Kanye, 50, you know, and I don't know if it was done on purpose. I
From
feel like
him,
yeah, I don't think he did it. I
right?
think he was a part of it,
Yeah.
but I think what we're seeing, there might be some loose, like this whole UMG thing that won't go away.
Mhm,
That I don't think it's Drake doing this. I think it's the record labels
mhm,
that were in such bad shape in that 2005, 2010 range, or after that range, that they were grasping at anything
mhm,
and they needed numbers,
mhm.
and they used Drake. I don't know if he was a willing participant in that. I think he ended up being a willing participant, but at the beginning, I think it was just they found this guy. He was easy to digest. He was light skinned. He had waves. He could sing kind of and rap really well. And
He was
let's
white,
ride him
but he
out.
was
Ride
black.
him out to
So
the yeah.
let me go back to what I said before and like laid out a little bit clear as far as like the the ways in which white people have have wanted to infiltrate black music for the in order uh, uh, to make, because it's profitable and to maximize their profit. So
Mhm.
going back to, let's start in the jazz age. Black people invented jazz,
Yeah.
and then somehow do we want to start with jazz when we start with blues? We'll start around that,
Gospel blues.
around
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But what happened is that they were always trying to find a white version of Al Jolson. I thought Al Jolson was black for years because they only talked about him when it came to like jazz and that era. Um, uh, so they kept trying to do that. Rock and roll. Let's stick with rock and roll. When rock and roll or R&B music came up the way that it did in like the 50s, not remember because you were there, but like they used to take the songs and make versions of them
Yeah.
by white people, where they toned it down, they sanitized it. They took like Little Richard songs and like completely like flattened them, right?
Yeah.
That didn't work because people didn't want that. They wanted Little Richard. So what they started to do was they take the sound, and then the album covers would have white people on them so that you
Yep.
wouldn't know that they were black. But then that fucked up because when you couldn't do live shows because
Into a
then
concert. Yeah.
it didn't work. So moving through that, they decided, okay, we need to find a way to capture the sound and capture the a white person who can do that. But the thing that they always have to remember, and what they realized after a certain point, was black people have to buy in. we want white people, but black people have to buy in to legitimize what it is that we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Elvis Presley was like, okay, we got it this time. We've got
Yeah.
somebody who sounds like, but not too much, but
Right.
can get the white girls, and it's always about like trying to save white womanhood. Like, but well, that's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
but the thing is, like, black people didn't buy into Elvis the way that they wanted to. So that
Yeah.
was like back to the drawing board type shit. So I feel like there's always, every incarnation of black music, there's been some white person that they put up, or at least one white person they put up to sound like, to get in and to like infiltrate. This goes back to my COINTELPRO thing, but like to infiltrate. But moving through the decades, I think they wanted M to be that. M
Yeah.
was like the perfect storm for them
Yep.
because of the people that he brought in. But I think that M respects black people too much, number one. And then number two was just a wild card. He was on drugs. Like he
Yeah.
after a certain point, he was not going to appeal to middle America, even though those were the people that were riding with him. Drake,
Mm-hmm.
perfect story. All of that appeals to white people because he kind of is white people. Appeals to black people because he's kind of black people. He has the sound that they want. He's got the look that they want. He's got everything that they've been trying to manufacture since the dawn of Black American music. Here he is.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very successful at it.
Yeah.